Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're going to check out the scrap pile. Heard a woodpecker up here in one of these trees. You might be able to hear that. This is the pile. This is what remains. So this trailer was not even scrap, but eventually I'm going to scrap it. The tire's dry rotted, the frame's starting to rust out on the bottom, and it was actually too small to use for anything. However, it was for a, what do they call it? They're called shop vacs, track vac. And the motor seized on the track vac, and I would never ever use it, so I think I'm going to end up scrapping it. But this is the remains of the pile. This pile went out, well, you can kind of see there's some dead grass there, there's dead grass over there, and it was probably yay high. Probably, I don't know, 8 feet high. It was all over here as well. But this is what remains. Probably about a half a van load, which is good because I have about a half a van load of scrap metal from the trash picking that I just did the other day. But this is all iron. Got a rusted out gate, this kerosene thing, which I'll be happy when this thing's gone because that kind of ruined my floorboard in my van. And yeah, those chairs I'm keeping. I'm going to scrap those, but I'm keeping those for the time being from personal use. But yeah, it's scrap metal day. Going to switch it up here. I know I haven't been doing a lot of scrapping videos, and there hasn't been a lot of scrapping videos on YouTube in terms of going to scrap yard and doing scrap metal things within the past couple of weeks. So we're going to switch it up, and that's what we're going to do today and make some money. And hopefully this will be the last trip from the apocalypse, lockdown apocalypse of scrap metal. So let's get into it. Alright, so we do have some cables here. People probably ask like why I don't sell this kind of stuff. I generally don't sell anything that needs to be plugged in, or especially don't sell anything I really find in the trash that needs to be plugged in. Most likely or not, these things don't work. This fan's broken, it's missing a handle. This fan's probably broken as well. These plastic ones, really cheap. They're cheap, both inexpensive and cheap in terms of quality. So I just end up scrapping them. The one thing I like when I sell stuff is I like everything to be working. I don't like saying that whole catchphrase that a lot of auctioneers say, it worked the last time they used it. Because your average consumer who hears that, who hasn't been to an auction, thinks that it worked the last time they used it, so the last time they plugged it in, it worked. However, that's not the case. It's kind of like a joke, a play on word joke, which I'm not a big fan of. Because the last time they used it, obviously it worked because they used it. So, I just don't like selling things that have to be tested. And if you can't test it there, like even weed whackers, like gas weed whackers, unless they're a good brand, I don't like selling them. Because a lot of people just don't know how to repair carburetors, they don't know how to replace fuel lines. It's just like, a lot of people just don't know how to do that. So unless you can really just like plug it in and start it up, or fire it up on, you know, one pull or two pulls, I just end up just scrapping it. It does get recycled into something else, and it kind of just saves you the headache and possibly losing a customer in the future, because I know people, I know a box truck guy actually, he's actually sold a couple things, and like the next week the guy comes back and he's like, hey, it doesn't work. I think he sold a pressure washer for 40 bucks one time, and the guy said it didn't work, so he's like, all right, next time I find a pressure washer, I'll give it to you. That's what he said, but the guy was like, no, I want my money back. I don't want another pressure washer. What happens if that doesn't work? I just want my money back. So I just end up just scrapping a lot. That's why I clip the cords on this. I also get a lot of questions about, do I strip this wire? I do not strip this wire, all right? There's like this whole scrap platform scrap forum that talks about like the value of wire and is it worth it to scrap it. And I think it's something like 60% return value is what you want. In terms of you want to have 60% or 80% of copper weight after you remove the insulation. That only makes it valuable to actually strip the wire as opposed to just selling it as is. Some random fact, I don't really understand it. Maybe it's 40%, but whatever it is, this typical household wire is not worth it to strip it. You lose money by stripping it. Moving along, we do have some aluminum here, I think. That's what that is. The best tool I've ever bought for scrapping, the old scrapping, is probably this impact gun, that, or the Sawzall. I don't have a vise yet set up in the garage, but I assume that would probably be number 3 if I do. So there's these metal screws at the bottom. I should have a bucket over here. So there's these metal screws at the bottom. Might be able to see down there. They are iron. The rest of this is actually aluminum. So if you take out these, you get clean aluminum price. And just like that, you go from making 5 cents a pound to 16 cents a pound, which isn't much. Not too long ago, this stuff, irony aluminum. A lot of people also ask me about my yellow truck. Check back to my earlier videos if you guys are curious about that. It does not run, if you guys were wondering. It's also a 57 Willys, if you're curious. In terms of this, earlier, this stuff was 40 cents a pound, probably last year. Now it is down to 16 cents a pound. Irony aluminum was 12 cents a pound, and now it's down to 5 cents a pound. So it has dropped like 50%. Kind of crazy. However, that's all over the course of a year. I don't know if I plan on trying to take this aluminum. I'm not going to take my copper or this copper, which I have to go through. And the reason why is because copper fluctuates a lot more, and it's down right now. Whereas this, although it's dropped 20 cents or essentially 50%, over the last 3 weeks to a month, it's only dropped 2 cents, where this has lost about 20 cents per pound. So I do think copper will come back up. If it jumps up another 10 or 15 cents, I think I'll take it. I might end up just making another bin of it. But the aluminum, it just takes up a ton of space. There's so much of it, all these screens. I would like to start fresh. Maybe I have a hammer for this. I do. Just like that. This is sheet aluminum. Back in the van, I do have these crutches, which honestly are probably the smallest crutches I've ever seen. So I do end up scrapping these. If you guys are curious about like buying these, go to any local thrift store. There's one thrift store I stopped by. They probably had about 40 pairs of these. These are very common. These and walkers. So I end up just scrapping them rather than doing them another pair. I know they end up, once they reach like 40, it just ends up scrapping. They are really expensive at the store. But you could probably pick them up for like $2, $3 at a thrift store. Or you can go to a scrapyard. I'm pretty sure a lot of people just scrap them as is. And then we have this aluminum chair, which I'm going to just quickly clip off these pieces of aluminum. This is all mesh and iron little screws. So I'm going to just throw that into my iron pile. Usually I throw that on my irony aluminum pile, but I took over, oh man, I took over a ton. I took over a piece of the transmission and a bunch of other things. Power tools, and a bunch of irony aluminum. It came out to like 80-something pounds. Ended up making like $5 in the end. So it was really not worth it to really separate, as opposed to making $3. And the time it took to go to the other building, taking it out, putting it in a shopping cart, waiting in line, it's just not even worth it. Sometimes these wing nuts are actually aluminum, so I'm going to actually put that aside. one looks like it might be iron. It's really being a little arrogant. There we go. That's iron, I know that. This is garbage. That one's good for right now. You can take off the other one. Slide that one out. Rubber piece there, and then I just simply clip the top piece and the bottom piece. Alright, that's junk. This is garbage. We got 2 pieces of aluminum. Clean aluminum. It's not much. So what happens here is if you don't take this all out, you end up with this little pin there, which is iron. So you have to pop that little pin out as well, which I'll just pull out with the pliers. But a little bit of aluminum. It wasn't really that difficult. I didn't know how small these things were, so in all honesty, that's probably about a pound. So, all right. Throw that into the aluminum pile. All right, and just like that, that pile is gone. So the 3 chairs over there I'm saving. Saving also the hand truck, which I've just been having over there for a while. But this whole pile is gone. This will be 7 trips to the scrapyard. This trailer is also empty. The only other thing that I'm keeping is this reel mower. You guys can see on the bottom. It's been used a couple times, so I've been using it. My brother's been using it. And it actually works pretty nice. I'm pretty sure I could probably just show you right here. See that? Probably could find some grass that maybe I'll... Wow. I just cut the grass. You'll double cut the grass with the lawnmower, so I guess that's not going to really help. But, you know, we probably use it over here. Show you guys how she works. The shadows are kind of screwing it up. You can see there's a little bit shorter in the middle now. But yeah, keeping that for the time being, because, you know, something like this, if I couldn't get the lawnmower over there, I know in some wet spots I've been using it, so that's that. All right, so the iron's all loaded up. This one still has one more of these fins on it. So I'm going to end up that one out? Maybe. All right, so we got one motor. I think it's the only motor I have right now because I took apart the other ones. This is die cast. I'm pretty confident. Yeah, it is. Doesn't stick. So I bring all this die cast in. This looks like it's painted. It's just the bottom side. I have more of these fans that it's metal. Tons of this stuff. Some doorknobs down there. Sometimes doorknobs are brass, sometimes they're die cast. Take this fan. I think that's going to be it for non-ferrous. I forgot, yeah, I put a sealed unit. I put 2 sealed units in here as well. These are compressors, also known as sealed units. I think it's like 7 cents a pound for that. So let's... All right, that should be good. This is all iron, and as you see, the back is also pretty packed. So it's a lot. It's a lot of work for like $22. That's what I'm guessing. You know what? With the non-ferrous, I'm going to say there's going to be $16 and $17 in iron, and like $8 or $10 in non-ferrous metals. You know, a die cast might add $12 in non-ferrous. 17 and 12 is going to be like 29. Drop a comment down below of your prediction on how much we will make from this scrap run. Alright, at the scrap yard, I don't know why this guy parked like this, but he's not going to be happy when I park over here. We're here at the scrap yard, so we're dropping off the non-ferrous metals. That's what goes into this building. As you see, it says all customers must wear face cover mask and wait at your vehicle until you're asked to be waited on. So I'm going to just put the stuff in the shopping cart and wait here. And the guy with the $60,000 truck, well, he's going to have to do some jank stuff to get out of here, because tomato, it is what it is. So you take the non-ferrous metals, if you guys are new here, you put it in a shopping cart, you go inside, there's like this scale that you put the shopping cart on, and he'll take out the pieces. So he'll weigh it like this, he'll then take out the fan, he'll then re-weigh it. It's actually a pretty quick process. I know saying re-weigh it makes it sound like it's a long process. He'll then re-weigh it, and that's your what's that?
You need me to move?
No, I'm all right.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he'll weigh the next thing, and then re-weigh it until there's nothing left in the shopping cart. The reason why I didn't take aluminum is because there really wasn't much space for big bulky items. So we got some smalls. See what we get out of it. All right, so I can't remember what anyone said. What I said was I thought it was going to be $8, $10. It was $7. So, all right. Gotta whip this iron onto the big scale. You weigh on the big scale, you drop off your iron over there, and then once you're done dropping off everything, get back on the big scale, and the difference is the amount that you dropped off. And they multiply that by the amount or whatever the price is of whatever you dropped off. So if you dropped off cast iron, it's $4, 100 pounds. You have 300 pounds, they go 4 times 300. If light iron, it's $3, 100 pounds, they do whatever, 300 times $3. So that's how that works. But we gotta wait until this big truck. I don't know, sometimes he'll pull forward and then he'll back off. So I don't wanna pull behind him and be a headache. So maybe I'll pull forward and go down to wherever he's going with that. But that stuff looks heavy. You kind of feel like an idiot because you bring all this metal in. You have a full van, and one of those stupid boxes weigh more than everything that you brought in the whole van. You know, it's kind of weird how that works, but that's it. It's a scrap life. I kid you not, this pile yesterday was literally probably a foot high. That is wild. That's a lot of metal they got in over the past 8 or 10 hours. That's crazy. I'm not seeing anything even valuable in there, but that's wild. Whole lot of metal. All right, and just like good time's sake, we're going through the recap here in the van. As always, enjoy bringing metal over here. So light iron brought 660 pounds today. It's currently $3 a hundred. It's 1980. Electric motor, that was that one fan motor. I got a whopping 63 cents. It was just under 10 pounds. A die cast bucket, 14 pounds of that, $2.80. And then the sealed units were the two compressors out of the air conditioners. You got a little short of $3.50 for a grand total of 27 bucks. So that's going to wrap it up here for the big pile. In grand total, so it's 27. I was at, it's $152 in grand total without including aluminum, which you know, I picked up quite a few. I think I did bring in aluminum right when the scrapyard closed because I was anticipating it was going to close. So was 150, I can't remember what I said, 152 bucks I think I said. That's how many, $152. That's how much money I made in scrap over the past month and a half without aluminum, so probably around 160, 165. With insulated copper, probably 170, 175. So yeah, that's what a month and a half of scrap metal stored up gets you. 7 trips it took me to the scrapyard. Don't haul around iron for that price because it's pretty backbreaking, but nonetheless, stuff is not going to the landfill. It's a little bit of gas money, so I can continue to make these videos for you guys and continue to do trash picking for you guys, as well as continue to save stuff from going to the landfill. So thank you everyone for all the support. Greatly appreciate it. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe down below to see where this stuff comes from, or if you want to see more scrapping videos in the future. Catch up with you guys next time for the next adventure. Until next time, have a great day. Keep living the dream. Peace.